view that emotional dependency is indeed a sickness. It's actually in the DSM. Diba? Characterized as a disorder.
There's dependent personality.
Yes, it's actually a disorder.
Dependent personality.
Dependent personality disorder. So, the, the, the nature of dependency is that it will cling to whatever it can. It can cling to cigarettes, it can cling to people, it can cling. But you have to know how to fill that void on your own without relying on another person to make you happy, without relying on a substance.
That's exactly what independence is. That's the goal. And I feel that even before we started dating, I had reached, and she has also, before we started dating, we had been going out with other people. It wasn't like straight after the program we started going out. We had reached a level of independence with each other and with ourselves. And then we started dating, and then we were able to have meaningful relationships. Because if you're a dependent personality and you start going out with somebody and you're not ready, kawawa yung tao. Because you're going to be dependent on the person, and it's not going to be an equal relationship where you take care of each other. Magpapaalaga ka. And that's the whole problem of being a dependent person, is that hindi ka marunong mag-alaga ng iba. Nagpapaalaga ka lagi.
Yeah, there's a children's book called The Missing Piece. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. If I find it, I will send it to you. But it's really it's a metaphor for dependency. It's about a circle, and he has a hole in him, and he asks another piece to fill it. So I'll send it to you. But it's really a metaphor about dependency. It's expecting somebody else to fill a void that is inside of us, instead of developing ourselves and being happy on our own. It's really kasi if you can't be happy on your own, you really cannot be truly happy with another person. And I think that was like before Inigo and I got together, I told him that if you're not serious and I'm not serious, let's not start something, because the truth was I was kind of happy being single. I was single, blessed, and my life was not miserable, but the only reason to have a partner, to add a partner to the equation, is if it will mutually enrich your lives. And if it's not, then don't even get into it.
That's true. And you get tempted. When I was in the ranch, I had not had sexual relations until her. And we're married now, so that's okay.
And you know what, you guys, like celibacy, we were celibate. I was celibate for 8 years. I didn't have a partner.
So it's tough, I understand.
No pornography, it's hard, yeah.
Malapit ka na sa 8 years.
And my first partner after that period of celibacy was my husband. So wala talaga ako, I didn't have any experiences, so I know it's hard.
And when you do get into a relationship, you go into it 100% aware, 100% secure with yourself and independent and able to control yourselves, so that you don't cling onto the other person like your whole sustenance and person is dependent on them.
I hope you were able to answer your questions.
But sorry, that's like technical definition of relapse. Kasi yung lapse is bad decisions too long.
A relapse is when you feel that's the deep end of the pool, when you're drowning already when you're back in your old state. Relapse, that's why it's relapse. It's you're back in your old state.
So for example, if your addiction is masturbation, you sleep masturbating once.
Yes.
Or for example, if for example,
you relapse, you do it regularly for a period of a month, a few months. When you go into full-blown relapse, it becomes a part of your daily life again, and it becomes destructive to you again.
Or like at the moment that you found that you came to this group and you wanted to ask for help. Before that, you're rock bottom. You had reached rock bottom, and you get better, and then you slip and you relapse. You slip. It doesn't always have to end in relapse. Huh? You can slip and catch yourself and get better from there, which has been, I feel like, the best way. But a lot of people do relapse. And to relapse is to get back to that same state For example, you're masturbating 2-3 times a day,
Yeah.
and that's your rock bottom, and you feel like, what am I doing? And you ask for help, and you end up going back to that after a level of recovery. That's relapse. But actually, a lot of times relapse, I don't believe that it just ends there. Because of that feeling of guilt, a lot of times people fall even
Yeah.
deeper, which is that's why a theme here is positivity. Think you can get better. Think you can get better. Because a lot of times we tend to beat ourselves up, and I know that feeling. We beat ourselves up and we feel like ang sama-sama akong tao. What's wrong with me? I'm so sick. There's something. There's a problem in my brain. And the more you think that, the worse you get. So you think, okay, I have a problem. Acknowledge, admit, and then get better, and then ask for help, and then it gets better from there. Next thing you know, that crisis that you had was actually a turning point. You
Guilt, I
learn.
think guilt is what really
Yeah, shame.
shame,
Shame.
guilt and shame. And these two traits are particularly rampant for survivors of sexual abuse. And that's speaking from a fellow survivor. Like when guilt and shame is something that's embedded in our programming that keeps you from talking. Diba? That's a part of the conditioning. That's how abusers condition you so that you don't talk about the abuse. So that's really part of our psyche. We're programmed to feel shame and to feel guilty about our experiences. We're programmed to feel ashamed and guilty about how we make mistakes and how we act out. But then you also have to understand that it's the same guilt and shame that when you overcome and you make it into remorse, which is a totally different thing. When you turn it into remorse, then you can overcome it. It's guilt and shame that makes us keep it a secret. And when we keep it a secret, yun nga yung sinasabi natin, we're only as sick as the secrets we keep. So kung nagkaisang slip kayo, you keep it secret, you don't ask for help, then that's usually when it turns into a lapse.
Nabubulok siya,
Nabubulok siya, parang sugat na nai-infect.
Nabubulok siya and it gets worse.
Pag
It
tinakpan
infects
nyo,
your person.
nagiging infected, it poisons you from the inside. And then that's when you become a full-blown relapse. Relapse is a process.
It is.
It's a process.
Doesn't
it's
happen
not
just
one
like that.
incident.
It's a decision. It's a constant bad decision that you make.
And when somebody relapses, we always trace it. When did it start? It started with this one incident when he did this. Or it started with this one incident. And then parang, maybe we didn't notice that it was happening. This person was spiraling downhill. That's usually how it happens. And as a support group, as a support system, that's really how you can help each other. You have to trust each other enough to even disclose, even slips. Even no matter how shameful it is, or no matter how nakakahiya, or
Guilt and shame are just other words for regret. If you regret what you did, everybody has regrets. But if you step it up a notch, regret can turn into remorse. Remorse pushes you to make amends. And when you make amends, that is, you reconcile yourself. You make it better. You redeem yourself. I am a firm believer of redemption. Because I feel that mine is a redemption story. And hers is a redemption story. And it can be the same for all of us. And regret is the first step. The first step is, admitting powerlessness. Like, oh my God, I made so many mistakes. That's the first step. And from that regret, from that, you call it shame and remorse, from that feeling, you push yourself to be better. So it's not always a bad thing.
Some people say, yes?
Sorry, regarding. Yeah, ito lang. So yung the spiritual term is naman contrition. So,
Yes.
to have a contrite.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
What do you find yung common denominator sa addiction? Like, sex addiction, gambling, alcohol. Ano yung pinaka-root?
It always has its roots in childhood. I believe that. It always has its in every experience that I've had with every person that I've ever counseled, it always has its roots in childhood.
Part of our therapy was what we call the journey. And this is a very introspective, very deep thing where we trace back some of our earliest memories. From age 1 to 7 is the age of formation for a child. A lot of our initial programming, if you think of it in IT terms, your initial programming, your initial software is from age 1 to 7. And the things that happen to you there, even if you don't remember, it's there. And what we do is we trace back our patterns. Like, why do you do what you do now? Like your habits, your bad habits, your good habits, where did that come from? A lot of times it's from our parents. A lot of times it's from the people that were there and that taught us things that were not good. That's why we have these bad habits.
Sometimes it's like a singular event.
Yeah.
It happened.
Trauma.
It changed the course of your life so drastically. Because as children, sometimes we think that we try to project our adult mind into our child mind. So for example, when you have survived major trauma, we always think, bakit di ka ba nagsumbong? Why didn't you tell an adult that this was happening to you? Why? We always ask ourselves, but you have to understand, this is not your adult mind. You were a child. A child's mind does not have the ability to process the way you can process now. Does not have the ability to respond to situations the way you can respond to now. And I can tell you, every single issue that I had in my life, every single personality flaw, every single, I could trace it back to moments in my childhood that formed me. And if you have a diary, if you have a journal, I would encourage you to write about, because you know what, an exercise that we did at the ranch that really helped in our treatment and our recovery was we wrote about our childhood. So many pages, like
She wrote way more than me.
I had
Favorite
like,
ni Tito Bob.
I had like 600 pages, 700 pages of the most mundane things and things that I thought were normal.
Yeah.
You
And
have a
then-
different definition of normal for other people. Normal means it happens regularly, but it doesn't mean it's healthy. So sometimes you think, normal naman yun eh, but was it healthy? Those are two different things.
Yeah.
But that's something that you can go into on a totally different day, and it's something that you can do on your personal time. But we had a therapist process every aspect of our childhood. It's really coming from there.
And sometimes the smallest things, we call it connection. Like, make the connection. We were always challenged, make the connection. Why do you do that? Trace it back to what you just wrote. And you think, you have aha moments. Like, oh, that's why I have this habit. Because back when I was 6 years old, this was done to me and I started doing this particular thing. You know, it
Hanggang
can,
ngayon, may inner child pa rin tayong
yeah,
lahat.
everybody has it. It can be
Everybody
something
has
so
an
small
inner
as
child, yeah.
a friend of ours does not like Milo because when he was a kid, his lola made him drink hot Milo and it burned his tongue. And tumatak sa utak niya. So until now, he feels that if he's gonna drink Milo, it's gonna. He didn't understand why. I don't like it. So and then eventually, when he figured it out, he was able to make the decision.
Kahit
Okay,
maliit lang.
bata pa ako nun. That doesn't. Okay, I can make the adult decision now to drink Milo, and it's not gonna affect me that way anymore. So now he's able to drink Milo. So it can be something so small as that, or something so big as abuse. Abuse is the worst case scenario. So,
Trauma and abuse. If you've ever been hit as a child, I had a homosexual friend. He's married now. But I remember
PRJ.
he used to PRJ.
yes, he has a kid.
I was very close to him. He used to tell me stories. Now when he came out, because sometimes like especially when you're kids, pag nakita nila, lalo na sa culture natin bilang Pilipino, pag nakita nilang tawag nila malambot, when you're feminine, or when you're not in the idea of what they expect a little boy to
We
be.
have a very macho society.
So
Yes.
he was not like that. He was not a very masculine boy, and his dad tried so hard to make him stay.
The typical masculine.
Oh, to a point na parang he made him do hard labor. And he used to pinaglinis ng bubong, and he would beat him, his father would beat him. And I remember that he would recount these stories to me, and he would recount and he would share hate, parang he had hatred towards his dad because he, not only did he feel rejected and unloved and not accepted by the single most important man in his life, which is his father, diba? His father was reflecting how he felt society felt against him. So it also shaped how he viewed other people. So, these are experiences, and he was able to understand it, and eventually, he was able to overcome. And I think his going into same-sex attraction was also sort of like a revenge against his dad. He did it to spite his dad even more, because from a young age he felt like he wasn't accepted, so he did it even more. Yun yung pagre-rebelde niya. But when he was able to overcome it, and he was in a string of bad relationships, and when he was able to overcome it, got married, he has a child, diba? And that's not to say that he doesn't crave. That's not to say that he doesn't have the same urges as he used to. He's just like, he has reached a higher level wherein he feels like, I don't need to act out on that anymore. So, but it's very key to understanding, the key to understanding who you are now is really to look back at your childhood. I advocate that a lot because it's helped me a whole lot. Yeah, to just review your childhood, understand what happened to you.
But don't do it alone. You don't do that by yourself. Please.
But also
Ask for help.
understand that a lot of the things that happened to you when you were a child was not your fault. And because sometimes we blame ourselves as kids. And understand that anything that happened to you as a minor is not your fault.
It's not a sin.
You cannot consent to anything as a minor. You cannot give consent to anything. So just understand that when you're doing this mental review.
Okay.